And for more on Hannah's impact and the outlook for this hurricane season, let's bring in FEMA Administrator Peter Gaynor, who's also a member of the President's Coronavirus Task Force. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good evening, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm well. So it's still July and we're already at the letter H for named storms. That's the earliest that's ever happened. Do state and local governments that are already strained by the pandemic have the time and the resources to adequately plan for what's shaping up to be a rather active hurricane season? And how do Americans need to prepare differently?
So I recently came back from a tour of the Gulf Coast 2 weeks ago. I visited Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and I specifically checked on my local and state emergency managers, counterparts, to see how they were doing in preparations. Early going into COVID-19 back in March, we knew the hurricane season was coming, and we drafted operational guidance to encourage local states, tribes, and territories to look at their pre-existing plans and apply all the things that we have learned over the past couple months when it comes to dealing with COVID-19. It will be more complicated. You'll need more time. You need more sheltering space. And so I'm glad to report that my partners on the Gulf Coast and across the country are embracing those adaptations they're going to have to do for COVID-19 response.
And you just mentioned the shelter in place. What's FEMA's guidance on how local officials should approach shelter in place versus evacuation orders during the pandemic, especially given the difficulty of safely running evacuation centers right now?
Yep. So I started my career as a local emergency manager and a state director. So all these plans are locally and state written and practiced and exercised. And what we do is try to give them frameworks, best practice, technical assistance on making their plans stronger. And so that has been ongoing. And so I would just encourage anyone who's worried about a hurricane, always listen to your local and state emergency managers. They give the best advice. They know their locality the best. The federal government is in support of them, and should they need something, we're here to support them.
But just curious practically what this will look like. If God forbid people are in their homes, they need to leave, and normally they would go to a shelter where they have cots lined up, hundreds at a time sometimes.
Yeah.
How will that work in a pandemic?
Yeah. It's a great question. So obviously with COVID-19, we're going to be unable to do sheltering like we've done in the past, where we jam a lot of people into a high school auditorium or a community center. Again, some of the guidance that CDC has out there today, and what we're encouraging everyone to do, is look for alternative measures to do sheltering. Maybe you need twice as much space to make sure everyone's socially distanced in a gymnasium. Maybe you need to put your evacuating citizens into hotels in non-congregate care settings. So there's many things you can do. And again, we offer technical assistance and support to those that may have a difficult time in doing that. But again, in our Gulf Coast tour, locals and state have embraced some of the challenges that we're going to see this hurricane season and COVID.
And Puerto Rico's Emergency Management Office today told residents to adapt their hurricane plans to factor in the COVID-19 pandemic. So with the island in the potential path of Atlantic storms, how can residents there best prepare when they're still dealing with the trifecta of the pandemic, recent earthquakes, and Hurricane Maria's aftermath?
Yeah, so you're going to have to be proactive. And what I encourage is do something today. Take one action today to make your family, your business, your community safer. And it can be easy as downloading the FEMA app. It will let you look at what risk you have, where you live. It will connect you to emergency warnings and give you data on making other preparations. But just do one thing today. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be cost any money. And you can get lots of information from the FEMA app and at ready.gov. And if you do one thing today, and if you do one a day as we go deep into hurricane season, then you'll be better prepared. And that's what we want, a better prepared citizen.
And just to circle back here, I mean, do you think that Americans should be concerned that an active hurricane season could possibly upend efforts to contain the virus if storms cause major displacement of Americans from their homes?
Well, it's going to be a risk, and again, the more we prepare now for that, for that possible scenario, then the better off we'll be. So again, it's going to be more complicated, but not impossible. And again, locals are embracing that. maybe they're going to have to do screening at a shelter. Maybe they're going to have a way to take a COVID positive patient and put them in a COVID positive shelter. Evacuations. Maybe you're going to need more transportation because you need more space on a bus. So all these things are in our guidance, and again, we ask everyone to embrace that, especially citizens. You have a responsibility to make sure that you and your family are safe.
Lots of preparation needed this go round. Our thanks to you, FEMA Administrator Peter Gaynor.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.